čisto, nic se ne boji. Jezus, mlade ma. Hey guys, here comes the long overdue video for the Huben K1 version 2. So as some of you already know, when I visit the gun show at Iowa in Germany, I was contacted and met with Huben, and they sent me their second version of K1. And they asked me to do a couple of videos with it. So I will divide this content into 3 videos. So this is the first one, which will be general discussion regarding the differences and improvements they made to the version 2. And the second video will be about accuracy, so and pellet selection. In that video I will do some long range shooting as well with different pellets. And the third video, which will be full disassembly and reassembly and, let's say, troubleshooting and things like that. So as you can see, now I have 2. So can you tell which one is version 2 and which one is version 1? Well, it's a little hard to do, but I will give the secret up to you. So you will know the version 1 because the logo, the version 2, because the logo is on the side and there is no plate here to access the trigger, where in version 1 you have this plate, so there's no place for logo, and the logo is actually on the top. So that's, let's say, the first visual difference. Second visual difference would be triggers, and version 1 had silver trigger, so this is version 2, black trigger, and this is version 1, silver trigger. Even I cannot tell sometimes them apart. Okay, so that's second visual difference, and the third one would be the muzzle. Version 1 has this, let's say, short cap and slightly differently made muzzle, so end of the shroud, I should say. And version 1 had this larger, let's say, longer cap and slightly, again, differently made end of the shroud. Okay, so this would be, I think, everything in regards to the looks. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, not only the trigger is not silver anymore, so K1 version 1 has silver trigger as well as the safety, and version 2 have both of those parts black. Other than that, it's really hard to tell them apart. Now in the internal side of the gun, you will see that the best on the video number 3, which will show the internal components as I disassemble them. But I can tell you right now that the version 1 had the 2-piece shroud, so this from here to here was 1 piece, and from this internal part, let's say between those clamps, was the second part, and that part had no purpose in terms of dampening the sound, of reducing the muzzle crack, only the part from here on. And that also meant that this clamp actually clamped the barrel itself, and the barrel was not floated here, was actually clamped to this piece and also over here, and of course in the back. And version 2 has the barrel clamped only here, and over here it's just clamping the shroud, which is single piece all the way. So that's one of the internal differences. There is of course another difference internal that can be seen from the outside, since version 2 doesn't have this removable plate where you can access the trigger. You have to access the trigger from below, and the trigger is slightly differently designed, and this is also one of their improvements. They improved the trigger, but we'll get to that later. And over here you could access it right here. Now for the maintenance part, not that you will ever probably need it, but for the maintenance this was easier than accessing from the below. So let's get to the things they improved in version 2. So let's put version 1 aside. Just have version 2 here. So let's say the most important, significant improvements are actually, I should say, probably 2 of them. The first one being they changed the barrel to faster twist. Actually they used the same barrel as I used in my videos with my version 1, only that they choked that barrel. So despite being a faster twist, it still can shoot pellets a little better than if it were unchoked. So this is quite a good choice if you ask me. It's a little, let's say, not that good choice for if you want to shoot bullets that are very tight, because it will reduce their velocity somewhat. That's a little, let's say, small downside, but it doesn't reduce it as much that it would cause problems, or if you had, for example, jams or anything like that. So it's not a major issue, but it shoots them accurately still, which is important. And so this is the one improvement, the barrel. And the second one is trigger. And they made the trigger slightly adjustable, unlike the version 1. And of course you still have the option to adjust through this hole the length of first stage. But now you have 2 additional screws in here. This will be more clearly seen in the video with the disassembly, with which you can actually access the springs, so that the tightness of the springs that influence the trigger pull. And I have a very cool and very simple, it's not even a modification, all you do is replace one of the springs for a weaker one that I will show you in the disassembly and reassembly video, that actually make this trigger really good without changing anything on the gun. And it also doesn't affect safety, which is very important because of Huben design of operation. So that's quite big for me. Actually, since I'm now in, let's say, I talk to Huben quite often, I did mention and suggested that they put this softer spring inside by default, so maybe you won't even have to do that if you will buy this gun later, if they will change that. So let's go further to other, let's say, changes that I really like. For example, you have the safety is the same, so up down totally the same. Only difference is how that safety is held in certain positions, so fire or safe, and this is much tighter. It feels much nicer. I like that very much. They have added additional screw here, and then I didn't ask Huben why that is, but if I would have to assume, it would be because if you, for example, have a jam where you have the full cycle of the mechanism, but the pellet is stuck inside and there's still some pressure behind it in the barrel, so in the magazine and the barrel. With this screw you can actually release that pressure out, so that might be in some cases important if you have a stuck pellet. The, let's say, next thing I like very much, and this is again similar to the safety, this power adjuster. It's much tighter now, and the, let's say, clicks are very nice to feel. They really stay in one place. They're not loose. It's similar to turrets on the scope. What you want to have is clear clicks and certain location that is fixed, not wobbly and things like that. So this is very nice. Although, as some of you ask me a lot of times in your comments, I don't think you should rely on how many clicks you did to know which kind of power you have. If you study your gun, then you can do that, but you shouldn't rely on my clicks to be the same as yours. This is kind of a relative adjustment, not absolute, so I would suggest that you always do your own tests. I can suggest how to set it up, and I will do that in the video where I will also discuss accuracy and pellets, but I still suggest that you test it yourself. Now version 2 has another very nice feature, and that is that this gauge is now actually accurate, really accurate. So the pressure that you set it here, it's actually what the pressure inside of regulated chamber is. I'm not sure if all of you are familiar, but in most of my videos, when I do with K1 version 1, I always say the pressure gauge is showing, for example, 180 bars, but the actual pressure is, I don't know, 155. That's because usually these small gauges, they don't have the scale corrected. They basically they show a higher value than the pressure actually is, because they have relatively high tolerances. But this one is actually much nicer. It's very accurate, so I'm glad they did it. So now you have actually good feedback of exact pressure that you are set onto. Another thing I wanted to mention is that in version 2 you still get the usual kit with it. So basically you get two Allen keys and a fill probe, but this time the fill probe is for quick fill adapter. So that's nice, I think, because most of us, or most of you, I hope you have a chance to have more than one air gun, and usually it's the easiest way to have a quick fill faster on the hose, and then just change the adapters that fit for each gun, or maybe some guns even have directly connection to the quick fill instead of these probes. Let's see what else we have. Yeah, so they changed this part that was before a cast piece of aluminum, I think it was aluminum, on the version 1, which clamps, it holds the barrel in front of the magazine. And they had a certain mechanism which can be clearly seen from my video on how to change the barrel on K1. They replaced that part. It's now machined, which I like very much, because machine parts are always more accurate and usually of better material than cast. And they made some additional changes to the magazine. So now the magazine itself has, in the front of the magazine, so if this is the back of the magazine, if this is the front of the magazine, in the front of the magazine they made grooves which actually totally fit the grooves on the barrel. So lens and grooves basically. So when you put in the pellet, and this is especially important for the pellet, it actually holds the head in place to enter into the barrel. Because it's you know, it's quite a challenge to make a gun that would shoot well everything from 8 joules to 100 joules and from pellets to cast bullets. So in version 1, I would say that it was, let's say the magazine, the place where the pellet is inserted or bullet was optimized more for bullets than for pellets. And by this you make sure that if you use pellets, the head is in the center, it's not pointed down or up or whichever side, because of course the magazine has to be at least as big as the grooves of the barrel. So this is quite an improvement. With this they basically made sure that this gun would shoot pellets good as well. So this is one of the changes that I like also very much, and because of that they also made a mechanism So the barrel is placed in front of the magazine with the grooves aligned with the grooves on the barrel as well as on the magazine. And of course the second alignment is the coaxial alignment between the holes of the magazine and the barrel, which also can be done. But I don't advise any of you to try to do this. This is done by factory, and this is very critical to accuracy, so I will tell you this again when I disassemble the gun. You should pay attention not to change these settings when you do that, otherwise you will have to readjust it, and this is not easy, and it takes some time and some effort. Okay, so I think that's about it. I have right now different scopes on these guns. They're both more than good enough scopes for testing it for accuracy, and I have shot both now a lot. I must say that the improvements on the version 2 are very nice. I'm very pleased that I made them. So that's about it. In the next video, again, I will give pellet selection, show settings on the gun, so how to optimize your power with your accuracy with different pellets, recommend different velocities for different pellets. I will start with some basic pellets that you can find anywhere. So basically what you will shoot the most probably would be JSBs or H&N. Maybe some of you will shoot some Benjamin pellets, or I should say. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and keep watching for the next couple of videos of Huben K1 version 2. Thank you guys.